Looks like we're back. Cleanus and Irving.
Rashidi is live.
All right, and now we're about to. All right, now where's my share button? All right.
Don't worry about the
Okay,
shit, bud.
okay,
Don't
okay,
worry about it.
okay. I got you. I got you.
Let me know when y'all ready to go and we'll get started.
Yeah, that lighter. We ready. Ready to rock and roll. We got the panel up.
Just make sure you got the phone up next to the mic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's make sure that's working. But as long as you can hear me, see what I don't have that feedback that I had earlier now. That's good.
All right.
I got to make sure I got this down. Stay tuned, y'all. Call somebody. I don't see you on the panel, brother.
All right, y'all ready?
Yes, sir. We ready.
All right, quiet on the set.
I'm gonna have to do something about you looking so big, man.
Let's start working out. They don't need that. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
These words may end up being something that may save your life. Ladies and gentlemen, fans of your feedback. Amon, Rashidi.
Wow. Hotep Griot Nation, and this is your man, Amon Rashidi, and welcome to this edition of Brother to Brother. I don't know what kind of feedback that was, but you're going to get some good feedback from us. But anyway, nevertheless, we're going to be talking about brothers working it out. We'll lay out our explanation, and we'll lay out the topic as we go. I just want to say I'm happy to be here today. I'm happy that we're having a chance to have this level of fellowship. I'm just pleased that we have a platform where we're communicating as brothers, because you know what we're doing right now? Brothers are working it out. No matter what the challenges that we have, guess what you are? We're going to work it out. And guess what? We ain't always in the struggle. Sometimes we in the victory. And you know what? It's about life. It's about love and liberation. Hey, brothers, hold it down. Holla Black in a minute. Come on back. Call somebody and get on the line with us.
Rashidi of the Griot Nation, asking everyone to connect with us on social media. Like, follow, and subscribe at Griot Nation Radio on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Follow us on Twitter at Griot Radio. And find us on the web at www.griotnationradio.com.
We good. Yeah, I'm gonna let you read that out. PG be coming up with these fantastic topics. I've been telling him, and I told Brother Shabazz yesterday, we're gonna get these brothers to blogging. Some people have certain skills. We all got certain skills, and as a part of brotherhood, you begin to identify those skills because you see each other and you work with each other more. And as a part of that process, we got to explain, brothers, when you get on the team, how you make that team fit. This brother's a hell of a writer. And a lot of times, when you're going back and forth with somebody on Facebook or, wherever you have to dialogue in the cyber world, sometimes you have some people that are just legitimate idiots. But then sometimes you have some people who are just misinformed. And if you respond to them properly, they start to open their eyes. And before you know it, you're not in with someone you're in conflict with. You find yourself in harmony with somebody because you were able to give an explanation. So this brother does a great job of doing that, man. It's PG-13. And also, I was checking out Brother Shabazz. He does a great job as well. And I was telling these brothers, we definitely got to have them blog and where you can communicate with them and know what they're saying on certain issues. Because PG does a lot of writing in reference to this election, particularly now with the circumstances as we're getting closer now to deciding who we may want to put in this office. But hey, you know what? More than anything else, we got to focus on the issues that we face as brothers. And I want y'all to understand on this platform is really about brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to be perfect, man. We're working toward doing what we need to do. And sometimes we hold each other hostage. We try to make each other be perfect. Man, we are work in progress. Sure. And we got to understand that. And we got to support each other through that, And PG and I was having a discussion yesterday that got kind of hard, but he helped me realize some things. No matter how frustrated I get, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to go back to the table, take a deep breath, and push the reset button. It's a little challenging to push that reset button the older you get, though, but you still got to do that.
Part of that frustration that we experience in our communities and amongst the brotherhood ties directly into what we're going to be talking about today, which is the links between unemployment, the emasculation of the black male, and its impact on the black family. Survival You know, self-preservation, that's the first law of nature. And, you know, when you talk about family, you're really talking about those who extend from yourself. So it is very, you know, it's a stressful situation. When you look at the unemployment rates amongst black men, and you're looking at black men who are interacting on a daily basis, and I would dare venture say that 50%, upwards of 50% of black men in the black community are unemployed. Now, of course, there are no public statistics that would support that.
We do have double-digit employment. I don't know what it actually is. But
yeah, it's double-digit,
yeah,
and I believe that they're saying that it's around 15, 16%. And then I heard Dr. Claude Anderson say a few years ago that the real numbers, the unpublished numbers, are more like 35%. However, if I went and stood in a group of men in South Dallas, then I would be looking at that one is working, that one is not. That one is working, that one is not. He's got a job, he doesn't. I mean, and I wish we had some sisters on the line to bear witness, you know, because we all up in your face every day, you know, trying to holler and get that phone number. But then after we get that number, what are you finding out about the men?
Well, let's bring this to bear, you know, and I'm glad we started this open. You know, a lot of times we just filibustering until we kind of get the topic stable, but this time I want to go to the heart. All right, let's look at one dynamic. Every man wants a woman. You know, every heterosexual man. I'm talking about a heterosexual man. I grew up as a heterosexual man. So I have to put this into perspective. All right, with that being the case, every man gonna try to holler at some sister because we want some level of companionship. How do you feel as a man trying to engage a woman if you ain't got no job? Do you feel like it's cool for me to engage this woman? You see her and you checking her out, say somewhere you out eating somewhere, and whatever the circumstances are, you know, you having lunch or whatever, and you see this fly sister come through, you know she doing nice. You making some assumptions based off the fact you saw her drive past and you saw the car. And when she came in, you can tell by the shoes she wearing, the clothes, and the brand of the clothes she wearing. How she wears her hair. You know what she representing. Now, when you go to holler at her, do you have a dual purpose? Are you looking for a secondary home? Are you looking for somewhere to lay your head? Are you looking somewhere to really have companionship? Do you have to take under consideration, or what level of consideration do you take under play when you say to yourself, oh, I can't holler at her because I ain't got no bread? Or do you even take that under consideration?
That's
so, you know, I mean, because if we talking about we got double-digit employment, a lot of times we talk about these numbers, but how do that generally affect you? And how do that sister see you? Does she be like, oh, here come another nigga ain't got no job, trying to scream at a sister?
That's right. That's right.
I'd like to get some perspectives on that.
Man, I mean that's real talk because I've been in that situation. I've been on both sides. You know what I mean? So, hey, man, if you're not working, if you're not gainfully employed, it's going to impact your esteem. You know, it's going to impact all of the relationships that you have. It's going to impact your relationship with everyone from your children to your mama and dad. You know, this is real because, as I've often heard you say, the primary functions of a man is to produce, provide, and protect. Yep. And if you, when you talk about production, when you're talking about being able to provide, and you don't have an income, then you don't feel whole as a man. So, you know, this is us being very open and honest about our feelings, but this extends beyond, you know, what we may have experienced in our own lives. We're looking at our community, and this is rampant in our community. And this is, you know, I've often said that a lot of the issues that we face in our relationships, you know, black men and black women, at the root of that, you know, in the Bible, and I'm not a Bible thumper, but I'll go back to, it's a book that is full of wisdom, and I don't think that can really be disputed. It talks about God gave Adam the earth, and he told him to be fruitful and multiply. This was a command that was given to mankind. So if being fruitful and multiplying was ordained by God, but you don't have an income, then what is going to be your level of fruitfulness, and what is it that you'll be able to multiply?
Well, I want to say something to that before we get any further into this. Do you feel like you're worthy? First of all, I do feel like I'm worthy to engage or have some companionship or engage a woman, whether I have money or not, because that's a human need. That's what I believe. Now, if that's the case, you got to put that in perspective as to say how far you could go into that relationship based off perhaps what your finances are. And then maybe sometimes it's a point of maybe perhaps you all being able to see each other and that the income may not be a factor, but ultimately it may become. And then there may be a situation where she's comfortable with saying, hey, I got you. But it may be, hey, it only goes so far to where sister kind of get a little bit tired. And that's determined on how you all are getting along intimately. All these are factors on how things work out for you in your everyday life. 70% of most marriages now ending based off some level of financing. Because that means somebody now got an expectation of what I should do as a father. But check this out. Just because your income ain't coming in don't mean that you can't give direction, purpose, and a presence for your child. Now, one thing you can do is create a war now out of this circumstantial side effects. So now maybe you don't have no money, so maybe now you're not in a relationship. But now, sister, don't be mad and hold me hostage to seeing my child because I ain't got no money. Because he needs more than an ATM machine. So I think as we do this, we shouldn't let these issues become problematic. But I did pose a question because we put a topic out here. How do some of you all feel about that when you're in a relationship? Or do you hesitate to get in a relationship based off where your resources? I want somebody, call in or whatever. I want to get some responses on that.
Yes, indeed. To all of the callers on the line, press *6.
Somebody was asking for a number too.
Yes, this is an interactive call. The number is 605-562-3140. And then you would press 289-354#. That will let you into the conversation. And now once you're in the conversation, this is an interactive call as we are asking for your feedback and your questions and your comments. And you will press *6. That will put you into the call queue. You will hear the prompts from there, and then you can ask your question or make your comment. I want to say something, and this is my philosophy. Any job that you have that you did not create for yourself is temporary. So let's get that understood. And I'm saying that I'm
and you're not undermining a job or a career.
Not undermining a job or a career
or nothing.
But almost everybody that I've known who has had a job has been terminated from a job at one point or another. There are very few people who actually make it 25, 30 years on a job to retire.
I mean, even great athletes don't go to a team. That's a job and stay there the whole time. Yeah.
So saying that to say, as a man who may be in the household with a woman, just because you don't have a job per se, does not mean that you cannot contribute. Because if this is your wife or if this is your companion and you have children together, then if that woman is out there pulling down 6 figures, then if she's pulling down anything close to six figures or not, then your responsibility as a man, as the head of that household, of that unit, is to put your mind to work now. Where you may be systematically locked out of the employment sector, then you put your mind together. You put your mind to work with your better half, and then you guys find a way to create an enterprise. I don't care if it's a nail salon, if it's a boutique, if it's a lawn service. There are many ways that a person can, take that money that we're usually going out and spending on Friday evenings to give us some type of delight from all of the stress and beatdown that the week has caused.
Well, let's add to that. So that suggests that therein lies the reason why you want a woman in your life. If you're a man out here living life, you're going to run into some stresses, man. If you got a job and you're doing okay on the job, even if you're doing okay, there's going to be some social interaction. And everybody knows ain't nothing like politics on the job. And that job is what you depend on for food, clothing, and shelter. So anytime you think something interrupts it, it can become problematic. But just overall, just dealing with the issues of racism and profiling, all those things we ignore most of the time, particularly as black men. We pretend like it don't exist sometimes, or it just happened to that brother over there. But we're gonna encounter these things, and whether you're aware of it or not, it affects your relationship, particularly with the woman that's in your life. Because if a bomb go off, if it explodes, what does it hurt most? The people that's closest to it. So a lot of times, I think those are the reasons why, we need our own outlet to deal with the distraction. But this is what I want to say. One of the things that PG said also when he was talking about the head of the household. When I think of a head of a household, I say the primary responsibility of a man is to provide, to produce, and protect, to act, think, and live socially responsible. When I think of a head, I think as a primary protector. Anyone can take the lead, is what I'm saying. But if I'm going to be the primary provider, if something happens in my house and I think there's a threat, it's not that I don't think that my woman can't fight for me or can't shoot a gun just like I do. But I'm going to tell her, hold up, you and the kids get over here, and then I'm going to go and deal with whatever I perceive that threat to be. That's just how I was raised. So with that being the case, those are things that you can do. You can always be the primary protector in your house.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to the point of guiding your child. Even if you don't have no money, don't let your son see you beat down because you don't have no money, because now you set an example. So he feels that when he don't have no money, he can fall into this mode as well. So you got to remember, our sons and our nephews and cousins and grandsons, they're looking at us right now. So a part of what we do is we go every day, we're setting examples. We got to be aware of that. Yeah. So attitude go a long way.
Definitely. And as far as the protection aspect, I think that nature ordains that we be the protectors. The tallest man in the world is taller than the tallest woman. The strongest man is stronger than the strongest woman. The fastest man is faster than the fastest woman. So this is not sexist, or this is not, supremacist. It's just nature. Now that just, and that's just the way that nature was created. So in no situation will I feel like I'm a whole man if I'm accosted and I step back and I allow my woman to fight off the attackers.
Well, you got to watch out for that word allow. I know some of you sisters listening. I work with you, and I know some of the things that's being said. You may not agree with the context of how we do it, but I'm aware of it. And so don't say that men are insensitive to perhaps some of the things we know that you may perceive us to be. We could not have lived with you this long. Remember, every man, you can't come to this planet except you come through a woman first. So don't pretend like we don't know you and you don't know us. Many times we don't know who we become. We're trying to get the job. We're trying to get the degree. Or we don't know who we become many times, sisters, because we maybe accept someone or some brother because our need for companionship exceeds, at least our rational thinking sometimes. Because a lot of times you get in relationships with a brother because you've had a brother, you've had a father, you've had other men in your life. Come on now. You've seen some good examples. And when you see one that's not good, then don't bring that into your bedroom. I'm just saying for you because, I have daughters. And so a lot of these brothers, that if we don't give direction to each other, a lot of times he got perceptions of manhood, man. I got some problems with that perception and how it plays out with my child. All right, and if we don't address that properly, then I'm going to become the provider. Now, not the provider, but now I'm going to become the protector. Are y'all following what I'm saying? So a lot of these things that we talking about now can be problematic when it comes to issues of domestic violence, because all these things play a role together. So, get somebody in. We want y'all to call in. We want y'all to get into the conversation.
Yes, so we do have a caller in queue, and let's go to the 716-563. Peace.
What's going on, King?
Peace, fam. We can hear you.
Pretty good. What's happening now?
All right. That's who's that thing? That's Brother Prone. That's the elder Amon Rashidi. Y'all already know who it is, man. It's your brother, Dr. Israel, a.k.a. the God Hop MC. Hashtag just the best of nobody special. Degree out East Coast A&E. What's poppin'?
What's happening, baby boy?
Oh, man. I'm just enjoying how my elder brothers always bring up what seem to be it's almost like if you know people who are religious and they go to church all the time. Sometimes they'll say, "It seemed like I walked into church and the message was for me today." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how. And I guess just because it's not that I'm in a unique situation, but just being a black male in this place, we share so much of the same story, even if some details are different. And I guess what I want to say is everything you brothers are saying to me is pertinent as a young so-called African American. But one thing I do like to point out is the fact that there are markers and there are things that are societal violence, and I call it societal violence, meaning that the aristocracy of the land has basically committed violence upon the working class and the poor by law and policy, right? Okay. And by doing this, well, one of the things that happens is sometimes we don't realize that the things that aren't necessarily racist or prejudiced against an ethnicity, but are more prejudicial against a class of people. So poor whites and poor Asians and poor Latinos and others will find themselves in a similar predicament. Right. But as a people, as a collective, them same things seem to be the norm for our people, where they are just markers that happen to a small percentage. So there's a percentage of Latinos that live like we do. There's a percentage of Asians and whites that live like we do. But as a whole, we are like in the high 80s in the percentile that's affected as a whole by what's just a 5 or 10% effect of another ethnic class. Y'all get what I'm saying?
I do.
So, in that fact, one of the things that this system has over all of the classes is taking away the means of production. We chase dollars. Whether we're entrepreneurs or wage slaves, we chase dollars. So if you're a wage slave, you're being exploited heavily because the owner can't really be a true capitalist if he don't get to take home the profit. So the profit isn't being shared with you. Your wage is in spite of profit. After they paid you your wage, the true profit that causes them to be able to pass on money to generations and things is in their hands. Also, if you're an entrepreneur, you actually have to depend on the free market and the system that's set up. So many entrepreneurs were in as bad positions as the poor when the bottom fell out of the economy. Many entrepreneurs, man, who own in home remodeling businesses, owning graphic design companies, startup restaurants, barbershops, a lot of them lost their businesses because of the economy. So what's really happening is, and like Elders Rashidi said, it's not that we're speaking against careers and speaking against money, because you have to work within the system that you're given. But as we work in this system, we have to have a generational plan that slowly teaches those coming up behind us that you're going to have to become producers. You're actually going to have some form of textile control, some form of agricultural control, and some form of medicinal and home, not just home owning, but home building control. Because if we don't, this problem will never truly fully go away. We'll just have a few Oprahs, a few Tyler Perrys, and a few Jordans that pop up. But they're the exception. They are not the rule. So I'm hoping that the universe will send to us elders who are skilled in things that can help people like myself and under me build. And as long as we're willing to be educated and humble ourselves to our elders, learn and work. Learn and work. Learn and work. So I just wanted to add that. I wanted to add that dynamic to the discussion. Thank you, Big Brother Rashidi and Big Brother Pearl. I appreciate and love you, brother, so much for giving a young brother the opportunity to speak on a platform like this.
Well, hey, bro. First of all, man, I want to say thank you, brother. First of all, what I want to say about Zadok and just the forum as we know it right now, dealing with brother to brother, Griot Nation as a whole, a social multimedia outlet. I said multimedia, meaning by doing it on radio, doing it on Periscope, doing it on Facebook, on YouTube, out in the community, television. So every level of communication that we can, we're seeking to reach out to our people. One of the things that we have to do in order to make this happen, and it's like how we've all met. It was through networking, and most of us was out working somewhere when we met each other. And I believe we need to make sure we have those forums so we can communicate. A lot of people come up and say, well, they ain't doing nothing. No. This is a platform here. This is just an extension or a branch of a platform we want to get many arms. So I met Zadok networking in Buffalo. The same way I met PG and Shabazz and EJ while working. So, what you have to understand is, man, when you are working, whatever the field you in, you have to network, communicate. Man, me and PG meet people all the time. And me and Unseen out together meet somebody. Like me and Shabazz yesterday met somebody. We're always working. Check this out, yo, all. Networking. That's going to be primary. Communication is key, because a lot of times when I first initially started my business, I didn't think about all the outlets. I realized I was going to be receiving money, but after a while, I realized I had homeboys over here who needed $700, $800, $1,000 a month. You know what they did? They became my driver. And then I realized after a while through my building, well, it's a pretty big building. Somebody going to have to clean it. Next thing I know, I got 4 or 5 brothers, and they have become the janitorial service for my business. And next thing I know all my vehicles and my vans need to be worked on. Next thing I know, I got a brother over here who's a mechanic who getting $2,000 or $3,000 from this enterprise. You see what I'm saying? We just look inside, and guess what? Every time something happened with that brother, I didn't say, well, that's what's wrong with working with niggas. No. You have a problem with working with all people.
Period.
So, we just got to give each other a chance, and we just shoot those examples out. But thank you, Brother Zadok.
Well, that is, that's essentially what it boils down to, man. Those of us who are self-employed, those of us who have businesses, we need to reach out to those brothers who need employment,
right.
And we also need to spread our knowledge and our wisdom and information in terms of how you create your own enterprise. Yeah. Like I said, any job that you don't create for yourself is only temporary. And going back to what Brother Zadok said, listen, man, while we're still focused on owning businesses, there is a difference between a business and an industry. And what the brother was talking about was tapping into industries. We need to be able to control certain industries. Even if you're talking about hair, that is an industry.
Right.
Hair is an
nails.
Industry, and nails, those are industries. And out of those industries, businesses are spawned. So now you have the salon, you have the products as far as, this human hair and horse hair or whatever they got, the products to take care of the hair. You got everybody, if you're going to have your hair done, you want to be able to look in the mirror, and then, you got lipstick that you put on to make your face pretty like your hair. All of these things are byproducts, and these are industries that spawn, businesses that spawn from those industries. So we really we want to elevate, and we want to begin to shift our focus toward self-sufficiencies, creating industries and gaining stakes in some of the industries that do exist. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is through the power of unity. This is what this forum is about. This is about bringing together great minds. This is about bringing together not so great minds, because everyone has something to contribute on some scale. That not so great mind, if it is hit with the right light, then that mind is going to flourish and it's going to blossom, and then they're going to be able to make a contribution on a greater scale.
Well, I think when it comes to dealing with the issue of great minds, we all have great minds. It just depends what level of development you are. That's kind of where we are. It's just we all have a level of consciousness, but what level of consciousness where are you? Are you a Pan-Africanist? Are you a middle of the road? Or you a nationalist? Or you may not even have a title. And I don't really, like titles anymore, really, because it puts you in a bag, and it tends to limit you now. You do what you have to do right now. And at the end of the day, we can't network unless we communicate with each other. I can't look at a brother and say, oh, he runs a so-and-so shop, and if I want to talk to him, perhaps, you don't know until you sit down and talk with him. You can't determine based on what they're driving. You can't determine based on how they articulate. Some of the most wealthiest men may have, break some participles and split some verbs. You know what I'm saying? He may be driving a raggedy truck. You don't know who he is or who she is. So we got to kill some of these notions. But more than anything else, give each other a chance.
You know what?
Yes,
speaking of nationalism, brother, we have a situation yet again that I think we'd be remiss if we didn't address. There are two things. First of all, one thing I want you to talk about that book and what was stated in that book that you read that was written in the 50s about the emasculation of the
men.
male, of men.
Yeah.
And
But you know what? Before we go any further, yesterday I want to say something to David Jackson. David Jackson is a young brother that I met at Everett College, and he was inspired by some of the things that we said when we came to do a presentation. I later got a call from him, and his 17-year-old grandson was killed. They haven't found out who killed his grandson, but obviously, the family is going through a great deal of grief right now. And even yesterday, even after it's been a few days after his death, they still had that chance to identify the body. That's closure, and that's pain. And guess what? In spite of all those things happening, they still have to function every day. So these are certain things that happen in our community. So when we start talking about domestic violence, I'm talking about the threat in our community internally and externally, and not forgetting that we have issues that we have to resolve. To add to that, my nephew was shot about a week ago. I guess it's been a week or so ago. It may not even been a full week ago. And everybody
this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend. Everybody was outside just really having a good time in the evening, and he was just going across the street, and two cars come through, driving excessively fast, and gunshots. Boom. They had a conflict, and he got shot 2 or 3 times. So, there's conflict that go on in every community, and we got to be consciously aware of it. That doesn't go on in every community, but guess what, you all? These communities, generally many of the times today, man, these aren't poor communities where these are happening. You have a drive-by shooting in neighborhoods with homes of $350,000 to $500,000. So now it's more of a mindset, you all, than a class, or it's more of a psychology. So we have to be mindful of that. So that's why I say it's important that we set these appropriate examples.
You're right. I would be remiss, if I just went away from the whole idea of, racism, especially, when you're born in America, you're born into America and you're shaped by white supremacy. I mean, there's no way of getting around it. But I was listening to a show today, and they were talking about politics, and there were people who were at Donald Trump's rally, and they were protesting. And I was really surprised. Like I said, you're born in America, you're shaped by white supremacy, period, point blank. There's no way, but I heard some white people, or people who I perceive to be white, and, in fact, one lady did say that she was white. She identified herself as a Caucasian woman who has Caucasian children, and she was protesting Donald Trump because she did not want her children to be born into an environment that continues to foment and perpetuate racism. Now, speaking to the classism issue, definitely
have and have nots, for you all confused by what we say when we say class.
Yeah, I mean, it boils down to the haves and the have nots, and it's
and how we treat each other, because some may have and some may have not. And some of those practices, to me, are racist practices internally, because many times if you don't know who you are, and I know this is not what this topic is about, but sometimes I really have an issue with that word white supremacy. And we have the right to make adjustments to words as we go forward. I said changing narratives, like we said segregation. To me, that was a simulation. You call it one thing. But when you say white and supreme, I got issues with that. Right. You're like, well, brother, that ain't what it means. Well, then we got to say something else.
That's right.
So we got to start working on that, because even when you say that, white folks shut down and black folks shut down, and then we started saying you're using it as an excuse. But what it actually means is not an excuse. It's an explanation for how people have used racism as an institution. But check this out, you all. Regardless of what people do to you, I'm going to make sure I get this clear. We are still responsible for what we do for us. And we come on this forum, we're talking to brothers. You got a circle of concern and you got a circle of control. There are certain things, brothers, we can control immediately. And those things we have to be able to put into place. And I want to make sure we don't miss that. We know we got these external things that are going on. We know we're going to have issues with the job. We know racism is going to exist. Shit, you and I don't run into the police and friendly dialogue while we have been working at least 5 times this month. I mean, for things I know we hadn't done wrong, but had we not presented ourselves properly.
Do you mean standing outside the building?
Yeah, we standing outside the building.
We're standing outside the building that we're looking to get a lease on. And,
They call the police on us.
Call the police. You know, call the police. Look. But you know, speaking back to.
But that's real.
Speaking to
that's real.
The white supremacy, and to basically go further in what you're saying. When you say, now I'm using the term white supremacy because it's a colloquial term that we can identify with. But you know, when you say white supremacy, you're giving power to the idea.
Thank you.
You're giving power to the idea. White supremacy. So like the little sister said,
anti-black sentiment.
Anti-black sentiment. You know,
all this anti-black sentiment is going on around here now. That's real.
Anti-black sentiment. And like Papa Rob was saying, you know, we have to change the narrative. When we say change the narrative, you know, be careful about what we say. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back momentarily with Brother to Brother with Amon Rashidi.
Yeah.
It's your man Khalil Rashid of the Griot Nation.
We'll come back to
We're
that.
asking you to tune in and tune up every Wednesday at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern to Brother with Amon Rashid, where we come together as men to discuss the important issues that need to be addressed within our community. Now let us be clear. The women are invited as well, because we already know that no nation rises higher than its woman. So dial in to holler at your man Amon Rashidi at 605-562-3140. Access code 389-254-pound. Once again, that's 605-562-3140. Access code 389-254-pound. Every Wednesday at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern on Brother to Brother with Amon Rashidi. Now, back to the Griot Nation with Amon Rashidi and on the screen. It's about life, love, liberation. I'm a Rashidi with the Griot Nation. The Griot Nation. Life, love, liberation. I'm a Rashidi with the Griot Nation. Life, love, liberation.
Well, y'all, black to the building, black to the feeling, black to the healing, black to brother discussion that we were having, and we're addressing, hit them with that topic. We hitting on, I call it brothers working it out. You know, we're dealing with the issue of unemployment and with all the circumstantial side effects that affect us in reference to racism, white supremacy, and all those things, how it affects you in the society, and the demasculation, meaning taking the strength and the power, you know, at every angle and perception from you as a man. And that happens through profiling. It happens through how, you know, your level of education, and then how you get the education once you're even in the classroom environment, and not to mention the environment where you find yourself dealing with the issue of double-digit employment. You know, having a 1 in 21 chance being killed before you're 24 years old, 3,600 times more likely to be killed than any other particular race on the planet. These are variables that exist, but whether we address them or not, they're going to continue to exist. So here's the key, is that we have to figure out solutions. We can address these are issues or these are challenges that we face, but at the end of the day, we got to work on them. And the first thing that we say is you address the things that you can control, and then you work toward the things that concern you. And the things that you don't have the power to do individually, you look for like-minded people or similar-minded people with a common goal, and you work together. That creates unity. Otherwise, there'll never be a we. You know, and we'll stop using this word, well, black people this and black people that. When you say that, are you talking, just look in the mirror and say it. You know, I got people, man, I can't work with no niggas. Really? Really? That means you can't work with your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, your cousins, and other people. Look, man, you may have some individual issues, but we have to get away from some of that anti-black sentiment that we practice on each other. You know, and, you know, those of you particularly who are Christian, and say you got Jesus as your Lord and personal Savior. You know, we ask that question all the time. How you going to love God you ain't never seen and hate your brother who you see every day, man? We got to put this stuff into practice. Now, I remember Freddie Haynes saying one time, we go out and buy a lot of things that we really don't want with money we really don't have, trying to impress people who really don't even like us. It's almost like buying into a reality show. And guess what the theater is? It's us, whether it's the O.J. Simpson trial or whether it's what's happening with Bill Cosby or what is happening with Ray Rice or seeing black people being just totally dismantled over radio and television over the last 2 or 3 years. There's been a lot of things that have happened. And in spite of those things, we still have to work. We still have to be good fathers. We still have to love the women in our lives. We still have to love our families. We still have to provide, produce, protect, and still work to be socially responsible citizens. We still have to do that in spite of all those extra things that happen. So go back to one simple proverb. Regardless of what people do to you, Hey, Griot Nation, you are still responsible for what you do for you.
That's right. That's right. So we're not having a pity party.
Right.
Men,
Yeah.
you know?
Let's get
we're
that
not
straight.
having a pity party. What we're doing is we're talking about, issues that impact us.
Yeah.
And, this platform was created to give brothers a platform to vent and make contributions. To all of the callers on the line, if you wish to speak and interact with us and join the conversation that way, questions or comments, dial *6. That'll enter you into our caller queue. You'll hear the prompt, and then you can make your statement or your comment.
And that's we really do need, like I said, the interaction. I want to add something else to that, and we'll start kind of giving news when we're here, because as I told PG, when we were talking yesterday, we have to be news reporters. Will somebody come in the queue?
Yes,
Okay.
we do have a caller in queue, 214-791. Come on with it, sir.
What's up, brothers?
Peace, brother.
Hotel.
This is Emmanuel Shabazz.
Brother Shabazz.
What's happening, brother? You all right?
Oh, man, I'm great,
I
brother.
think this is good. I think this is an excellent subject. I was talking over Facebook with a Facebook friend yesterday, and she put an interesting post out. And she talked about, the post basically stated that in 1974, they enacted some laws that helped black women particularly, women overall, but black women particularly, benefit from, I guess, welfare, food stamps, what have you. But the stipulation was that the man couldn't be in the household. Well, that particular subject, the thing that she posted, it had a lot of interest for me, because I was directly affected by that 1974 law. I can remember specifically in 1977 when my pops had to move out of the house because the welfare folk would come and review, go off in the cabinets, in the closets, and I remember these inspections when I was young, and my mom preparing for these monthly inspections.
Mm-hmm.
And these inspections basically were put in place to make sure that there was no shaving cream, no razor, no male boots.
No male shoes, that is. I remember shoes. That was one of the checks.
So the government effectively created this process to divide the black man from the home, and with Europeans, man, they will create a situation and then they will hide their hands after they throw the rock. You get busted up upside your head with the rock, you're affected by it, you're looking around to see who threw it, and they got their hands behind their back like they didn't throw it. So when they sit back and talk about, I hear these statistics about Trump supporters being thrown out randomly at will about, the unwed mothers, the unemployed men. Well, damn, you created the situation. You deliberately created the situation to exclude us from the home, to push the black man out, and you became our daddy, and now you're mad because we're doing exactly what you set up. So you set up the system for us to fail. You set up the system to divide the man from the household. You set up the system to keep the brother from being able to get viable employment, because you know he turned to hustling because you're going to feed your family somehow. And after he turns to hustling, you lock him up, and then you sit back and point your finger at the product, the children.
That's right.
You're the product of not having a father. Black men would just step up to their responsibility. Shut the hell up if you would get out of our business. And you've been in our business for an extremely long time. Get out of our business, and then we can take care of ourselves. But when we begin to take care of ourselves, like Tulsa and Omaha, Nebraska, and Rosewood, when we begin to take care of ourselves, then you get jealous. You get jealous in your heart because we're able to take care of ourselves minus you. Then now you want to burn us up. You want to burn up what we put in place. So all of this stuff is systematic, man. The unemployment rate with black men, the absentee father in the home, the hustling going to jail and being an absentee dad. All of this stuff was designed. It was designed by a grand architect who now is hiding behind a tree, acting like he didn't do nothing. Trump supporters. Thank you for allowing me to make those comments, man. Peace, brothers.
Peace, bro. Thank you for your comments, because you're always on point, man.
Always.
I mean, you brought out something that definitely is a major factor.
Right.
It's a major factor in what the products that
Right.
we look at in 2016.
Well, hey, I want to address this. Somebody sent something, and I generally don't respond when someone sends things in. I'm reading it with the Periscope. But this was an oversimplification, is that we talk too much. First of all, everyone talks. You go anywhere when no one is talking, not communicating, you're going to see nothing is going to get done. We have programs all over the world. Had a 72% retention rate, where 85%, 92% of our violent offenders didn't reoffend for up to 18 years. We have a platform that now is not only here, but in Buffalo, New York, and Auburn, New York, that's in Toronto, that's in Phoenix, Arizona, and also in the UK, and that is expanding right now. We have connections not only in Bermuda, but all the islands that we work with. We're constantly going out doing mental toughness for groups of youngsters between the ages of 16 and 26. And there's always young brothers that we're mentoring on an ongoing basis. And guess what? Even when we leave this forum today, we still going to work. So what you have to kill is the notion that when black men are talking that they're not doing anything. That's because that's a white supremacist perspective, is that you're not important enough to have a conversation. These are therapeutic forms that you can get certain things off your heart and communicate. That's how you find things out. After the dialogue is over, that's when you begin to go to work. And most of the people who are doing the talking are people who are not doing things themselves. That don't necessarily mean that's what he said, but sometimes we take colloquial phrases that we're used to having, that's been given to us by folks, to throw a monkey wrench into us as we going forward.
That's right, and that colloquial phrase is y'all just talking, y'all just talking, y'all just talking. Let me address that y'all just talking. First of all, according to the Bible, once again, I'm going back to the Bible. In the beginning, God said, "Let there be light." Okay.
The beginning was the word.
Do you understand when they say conversation rules the nation? Okay, that's a colloquial phrase. So when I'm going to charge these idiots who are out here talking about they just talking, that's because you don't want to do no goddamn work. You don't want to work. So you don't want to come to the conversation because somebody might ask you to pick up a hammer. Somebody might ask you to go over there and do some work. So you're going to say, so as a deflection method, to deflect from taking responsibility and acting, you're going to say you're doing too much talking. So if we're doing too much talking, and I'm not talking about just us, if we are doing too much talking collectively as a community, tell me what your work is. Tell me what I need to do, what we need to be doing. What are you doing? Because we're going to put our hands with your hands. We're going to make our back as strong as your back and work with you. So what are you doing?
Too much energy. Here's a balance. He got too much energy, and this unbalances my brother. Whoever that was, he got too much energy. But a lot of times in those situations, you hear it so much, but you have to figure out how to channel those energies. You know what I'm saying? And this is out of love, the things that we do. And there are times where he gonna have to calm me down because there's certain things that take me over the top.
Well,
that's called balance. You know what I'm saying? And that's all right for us to be passionate about what we're doing. That means we're doing something with a purpose that we're excited about. There's a difference, and I want you all to understand that. But in the future, we're learning as we go as well. It's our intentions to execute certain things, to make certain things come about.
Definitely, and I'm not attacking this person, you.
That attitude.
It's you. It's not a you,
right, individual you.
Singular. It's you collectively.
Right.
You, plural. Your type. The people who are saying this. So I'm looking.
Yeah, I feel you, bro. We cool.
Okay. Well, I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that, but it is what it is. Hey, man, let's stop, putting down people because, a large percentage of our information that we receive comes through this ear.
Yeah.
And we hear it. It comes through the spoken word. Somebody on the radio spoke a word. Somebody at a speech spoke a word that inspired a child to turn his life around. So you can't be, we're talking and we're working. Yeah. That's the bottom line. We're talking and we're working.
You gotta have that balance and that communication. And one other thing I want to say in reference to Donald Trump, the specifics, when we go back to what Shabazz was saying, that was a statement he made in reference to 81% of crimes against white people were imposed by blacks. That's ridiculous. We'd all be in prison right now. You already know that's, and sometimes those things are said. What frightens me is when those things are said in the public embraces it, or the perception that the public embraces it, which sets a climate. You see what I'm saying? And it started out kind of like as a joke, but now you're seeing actual people who are drawing lines and having conflicts. But that don't mean all people are that way. But that means we got to just kind of work, make sure we clear up things that are lies, because some people will live by those lies.
We must clear up the lies. We had spoken, I believe it was last week or the week before last, about this group, BEAR,
right? And
BAIR, and these are anti-radical Islam, quote unquote patriots, and these people are coming back to South Dallas, to the South Dallas community, again to protest radical Islam at the Nation of Islam Mosque. Now, everybody knows. Well, obviously, everybody doesn't know. This is why we must beat the hell out of ignorance and misinformation. But they're protesting on the grounds that the nation is advocating the killing of cops and the killing of citizens. I mean, this is the grounds. It's just like the false pretenses under which America went and destroyed Iraq. You said that there were weapons of mass destruction, and you sent an army and you destroyed a nation. You killed 1.5 million people.
Mostly women and children.
Mostly women and children.
And then ask the question, why I don't know why they hate us. Stop it.
And you did it based on misinformation. You acted based on misinformation. Now, if these people went and examined the history of the Nation of Islam, the history of the members of the Nation of Islam, the tenets and the laws and regulations, then they would understand that the Nation of Islam does not even carry weapons. So what cops are you gonna strangle the cop? You know what I mean? How are you gonna kill the cops? How are you gonna advocate for killing cops in open season on white citizens? It's just not there.
You know what?
It's not there.
To even have a group to come out with some ignorance like that, to say what we advocated, when in reality, every 28 hours, that's what a civil service Anglo officer is doing. Stop it. You're killing our people every 28 hours, and you're a paid civil service representative. But yet and still, you're complaining about the people who've been victimized by these people, and talking about you're going to come after them as a threat. At no time have you seen the Nation of Islam out here breaking laws. At no time have you seen them out here violating immoral laws, stealing, or doing anything else, with the exception of doing for self. So, we don't have to defend that integrity. That integrity is very well intact. And all this fear is based off guilt, because no one has done anything particularly to the so-called angry Anglo male. Because maybe you're angry because you're being caught up with all the illegal things that have been done, particularly the fact that we bailed out all these rich people like Donald Trump, and now all of a sudden we want one of them to lead the nation. Come on, y'all, we just bailed them out, and then you want to get one of their smallest cronies, because compared to wealth, Donald Trump doesn't have any money when you compare him to real wealthy people. You really know he's really not a power broker. But you're allowing this guy to come with that. And the reason I'm saying it is because you're allowing that to be the premise by which he's a great businessman. Are you kidding me? Stop this. So we're gonna go on from there and not give him too much energy, but we can't buy into those lies. Because a lot of people contacted me in reference to that. Well, they have the right to be upset because 81% of all the crimes against white people are by black people. Ma'am, that is a lie. And for all of you all who believe that, that is a lie. Okay, so we'll move on with that. Yeah. But I want to get somebody else, in the queue. We're dealing with the challenges of employment, demasculation. We're dealing with the devastations and the challenges that we face in America, but at the same time being responsible fathers, sons, nephews, citizens in America and abroad. We respect that. We respect the black man, that protocol that we call that one who provides, produces, and protects, acts, and thinks socially responsible. Do we make mistakes? Everyone makes mistakes. Can we do better? We're all working toward being better. And we realize that we have to make you aware of the things that are being done to us, so we'll know how to cautiously go forward to protect us. So that's why we give you a lot of information. So with that, we definitely want you brothers to chime in, give us some feedback. I'd asked a question a little bit earlier about how some of you brothers felt about, dating or having a serious relationship if you're not working. For some brothers, no big deal. That's a part of your life, and it's not a challenge. For some, I know they come to me a lot because we talked about it on the show before. Man, I just don't date nobody when I don't have a job. So it just depends upon you. But definitely, I think you should always enjoy female companionship. I think it's the depth of how you go into a relationship based off perhaps the resources that you have.
Definitely.
Because if you live in a capitalist society, you got to function. You got to eat.
Well,
you got to pay the bills.
When we say emasculation, I mean, we got a caller, so I'm going to hold my comment.
Right.
Caller calling from 980-729. Go ahead with your your comment or your question.
Peace, brothers. This is Saeed Oludala. I'm the brother that was just discussing with your brothers on the favorite marketing firm.
Peace, brother.
Peace, brothers. What's happening, man? First of all, I want to say that I apologize if I came off saying anything rude to you, brothers, because that was not the intent. That most definitely was not the intent. But what I was saying was, when we spend too much energy talking about what the cracker is doing, what he has done, and what he's capable of doing, we are not focusing that energy on our own capabilities. That's what I was saying.
Yes, sir.
You're absolutely correct, brother.
And you can say it yourself, and you can agree yourself that for years, we can sit in these boardrooms and have these coon negotiations and these coon talks, and we not calling you brothers, but I'm saying we have these high-powered Negroes with these suits and ties on talking, and nothing is actually trickling down to the street where the real issues are. This is what our children are seeing us do. But we talking, and the men, I'm from Chicago, so even in Chicago, you see where Spike Lee, for instance, let me just use that. Okay. Spike Lee, I seen the movie that he put out. Trash. Total trash. It was total disrespectful to Chicago in this whole makeup. He can't even. The little brother said he can't even come back to Chicago after doing that. He had a perfect opportunity. He had a perfect opportunity to help clean the city up. But what did he do? He made a film continuing to perpetuate the divide between the black man and the black woman.
Yes, sir.
And
preach, brother.
To perpetuate the divide between the black man and the black man. Why? When you could have made a documentary and highlighted what the Nation of Islam is doing on the street, what the brothers from the Chairman Fred Hampton is doing on the street, what the brothers from FTP are doing on the street, what other good brothers and sisters that are doing on the street, but you make a movie about two gangs?
Wow.
This is what I'm saying, brother.
That's real talk, brother. So the apologies are extended our way as well, brother.
That's right,
and like
brother.
I said, we weren't attacking you, but
the idea that
but that what
we just wanted to be clear, brother. I didn't think it as such. We just wanted to be clear.
Right.
We just wanted to make sure that we clear. We want to be right as that.
Well, you know what, brother? Don't hang up. This is what I want to say is this is what this forum does. You see what I'm saying? Where there may be the appearance of miscommunication, dialogue dismisses it. There's so many ways that you all, we always talk about the art of war, but if we wrote how we existed and how we function, man, it would pale in comparison, brother. When I really look at what we've been able to come through, then it really makes me say that glass is more half full than it is half empty. And I thank you, brother, because I believe you could be a great contributor to us, man. I would love for you to call in more, man, and come join our forum, man, because you got a lot to offer, brother.
I appreciate that, brother, but my whole focus is number one. See, the survival starts where? At home.
That's right.
If the men start taking their ass home, take your butt home. You don't need to be in the street or hanging out with the brothers till 11, 12, 1 o'clock at night, because who is at home with your damn children and your wife?
Come on now.
Nobody. You supposed to be at home, brother. You're supposed to be at home. So when our sons and daughters see us at home, helping our wife around the house, helping the children with the homework, helping our son, taking our sons outside and, man, get out here, we finna change this oil, we finna mow this grass, and giving them some discipline and some giving them something to stand on. That's the fight right there, brother, because I just have to say this and I have to be honest. Hope I don't offend nobody. No. But a lot of these brothers and sisters are gone. They're too far gone. They're gone. So the babies are the older ones, the ones that's 50, 60, they are already stuck in their. I'm talking about these babies, though. Yeah, babies are the ones who we should be focusing on, because the babies are the ones that gonna carry the torch.
That is right.
Yes, indeed, brother.
They're the ones that's gonna hold us down when we. Man, I'm not calling on myself or calling on y'all, brothers, but if we was to get locked up and took to these dang on concentration camps that they building for us, when we go, what they gonna do?
That's right.
That's right, bro. It's gonna
continue to be talking, continue to be saying what we saying. Man, the white man, he bogus, man. He out here doing this, he doing that. Man, fuck that. I mean, excuse my language, brother. Forget that white man.
Be yourself,
he been doing that. He been doing that since he been on the planet. You think he gonna stop?
Nope.
No, he's not gonna stop. So that means we gotta stop being God then.
You know what, brother?
That's it. You're being God.
He can't stop. He won't
stop.
stop.
Then. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we got to be the same. We got to be vigilant. We got to have our own purpose plan and our process, and work that purpose plan and process. And every time we got good information and inspiration, we got to put it in the veins and the minds of our people and keep on pumping. It's really just that simple.
Yes, brother.
Hey, listen.
Yeah.
Last thing, bro. Our people are listening to actions. They're not really listening to words, brother. You've been getting these words. How long, Mr. Farrakhan, been teaching?
Right.
What year did the Honor Black Muhammad receive the message from Master Muhammad? What year did Marcus Garvey start teaching the people?
Yes, sir.
Our people hear the message, brother, but they got to see us actually working, doing something.
That's right, brother.
That's what they got. They got to see us doing something. If we ain't doing nothing, man, bro, we gonna be talking till.
Right.
Man.
Well, you know what, brother? Thank you for calling in, brother. Hit us back, man. We're going to keep your number in queue, brother. And have a great day, brother. Stay tuned.
Yes, sir, bro.
All right. You know what, man? That's a good dialogue. That's a good exchange. And I think we have to realize that, a lot of times we have to make sure that we're clear on our dialogue with each other. That's why I always try to, to give I won't say give you the benefit of the doubt or err on the side of caution. Man, because a lot of times the only thing you have is your feelings. A lot of times the only thing that you have is your word. And while minister is working, a part of his work is his words. And we have to realize that. We created the power of the spoken word. We uttered life and everything into existence with sound. And we must continue to do that. And when I say the ones that's talking and not doing nothing, those are the ones that are just the naysayers that are complaining about what they see other people do. And we got to continue to do due diligence. Look, you all, I want y'all to check us out definitely on Sunday night on WBLK. We're on the definitely Hot 99.1 on Sunday mornings. And I don't know exactly what time we come on Peace FM or Radio Phoenix. But I just want to give a shout out to all those forums where we have an opportunity to talk about, life, love, and liberation. Brother to Brother is an extension of that, and I'm here with my brother PG, to my brother Unseen and EJ, brother Khalil. Brother, thank you so much, brother, because a part of our development and how we're being seen and what we're doing now is a part of your motivation. He is director of our media, and we need that, man, especially the social media. I'm up to about 5,000 people, man, on Facebook. I mean, I first came along, I have nobody. But, I'm trying to use those things properly, not just be vehicles to help the man. But you know what I'm saying? Some things to where we can have names of people and we can move forward with them. When we used to go, here's what we call community organizing 101. The first thing you do after you have some level of networking, that means you're going to create a forum. Once you create the forum, once you get in the forum, we're generally have food, because food promotes engagement. Once you begin to engage people before you leave, the one thing you have to have, or otherwise all that is nothing, name, numbers, and digits. We forgot just the fundamentals. We don't even have that constant place. So we're creating a constant place now where we can be seen. Maybe we can build from this and have somewhere we can exchange information, some food, and then talk about, hey, next level. I want to say this to Big Easy. Big Easy Saturday did a block party against black-on-black violence in our community. I didn't know what was going on, but it was beautiful just to stumble up and see us working. You feel what I'm saying? Seeing brothers in the hood that came back, that used to play ball, who used to be out in the game, but now coming back, talking to little shorts, got the bounce house out there, giving free food out there, giving a good word. I'm running to some of the old brothers that I work with, used to be G's. That's what we need, man. To bump shoulders and show love for each other, giving something back to our children and seeing us work together in the community, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, we can go and take it home, man. You've already given out the acknowledgments. And,
right. You know, about 2 hours a day.
I had quite a bit more to say, but, we've had a wonderful dialogue today.
Yeah.
And we'll continue. Next week, we'll be back. Same bad time, same bad channel, with Brother to Brother.
Hey.
With Amon Rashidi.
Well, look, you all. It's always about life, love, and liberation. Somebody said what time? We started at 11 o'clock. I guess it's Eastern Standard Time, and 12 o'clock. Would that be Central?
It's 11 o'clock Central Standard
Central Time.
And noon Eastern.
So that's why you got to have your brothers. We balance each other out.
11 o'clock Central Standard Time. We in the house.
Yeah, hey, you all. Frederick Douglass once said, a man without force is without the essential dignity to build. He said that human nature is so constituted that it cannot honor a helpless man, and although it may pity him, even this it won't do long unless the signs of power arrive. Where there's no struggle, there's no progress. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did and it never will. Men may not get all that they pay for in this world, but they will certainly pay for all that they get. This simply means that powerful people don't teach powerless people how to take their power away, and black faces in high places don't necessarily guarantee a better day. See, it's no longer survival of the fittest, but survival of the slickest. Whacked out pimp players and hustlers vying for who become the richest. See, I'm not telling you that you shouldn't make your ends meet, but be careful of the people that you walk on and the people that you mistreat. See, you can't fight and beg at the same time and still be expected to be respected as a man in your own right mind. Holla Black next week, man. Peace out. Cabizzo.